with all of the events, as well as dignitaries, presidents, monarchs, 2 weeks ago, you had an encounter with the King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Yes, I did.
Would you mind sharing that?
I will, Pastor. Before I do that, I have to tell you, if I start shaking, I can't help it. I'm already kind of shaking. It's a lot of weight on that moment. But before I say one word about it itself, or what I saw, I just want to say, Heavenly Father, guide any word that I say. Don't let me add a word. Don't let me take away any word. Please make it be exactly what it was that you showed me, so that I can speak those words to what I saw. It was very heavy. So, if you were here 2 weeks ago on Sunday, you would have remembered we walked in with the palm branches, right? And everybody was playing, was having fun. We were waving them around, and everybody was just, we were enjoying that moment. I was too. I especially liked watching the kids just having more fun than everybody else doing that. So the service started, and we made it through the children's song. And it was uplifting. Everybody was feeling good. I could feel that in the room. And what happened next was we made it through the service to the first song that was going on over here. I don't see visions like I've never seen anything like this in my life. We've all watched the television shows of what Jesus looks like according to what we've seen in photographs and pictures, or not photographs, but the cameras that show us what they believe Jesus looked like. So I was not asking to see that, but I was sitting right there next to Shannon, and I was looking up at the cross, as I do every week that we're here. We always look at the cross and we think about Jesus participating. And then somewhere in the song, I don't even know, we were all standing up. It was like I could still feel that we were in the room, but all of a sudden it was like instant. I was someplace else. And what I saw, it was right around this area, right here. I would guess it was over top of our Bible up here. It was right here that it was like I was in the scene of standing front row in front of Jesus on the cross. Now, before I tell you what I saw, I want to tell you it's real looking. It's not like a video. It's not like a movie that you're watching on television. I was standing where I was about that far away from where he was. What I could see was the color of the sky was grayish, bluish. Some of you know when it's that color of blue, but it's gray. It's not bright sunny. And it looked dry, it looked arid, it looked like there was no moisture in the sky. And I could see the ground was like grayish, gravelish looking. But what I saw with Jesus on the cross is not like anything that I would have ever even thought to imagine. It was something completely different. First of all, the cross wasn't very big. It's not a huge cross that he was on. His feet were not way up in the air. His feet were low, like down low like this. The cross itself, I don't think I would have looked at that and never called it a cross. It looked like something that just supposed to hold him up, hold somebody up to be tortured. That's what it really looks like. The cross didn't go very high above his head, if it did at all. I could see behind his head, yeah, there was, like we've heard, the words were behind his head. But it was so small, I couldn't see it because it was behind his head. When I looked at And him at first, it was like utter, just the weight of what I was looking at it was stunning. It was very upsetting, and I started to shake. I'm shaking right now, but not like I was the other day, 2 weeks ago. So, looking at him on the cross, his arms were extended, but they were back behind him. He was leaning forward, and his arms were up like this. So if you were looking at him sideways, he's leaning forward. He's not like just on the cross, just tied to it. He was tied here, and I did see small nails in his hands. I did not see any blood on his hands. But every time he was leaning forward, his arms were shaking like this. He's moving forward. And he's trying to get air. He's breathing. And as you look up, he's shaking. And he's shaking. And his eyes are pulled down. He's looking up. And I could feel the weight of the world on him. And he would go back down. This is what I was seeing happen over and over and over. I could not feel the pain that he was going through, but I could feel the heaviness, the weight of the world that looked like he was trying to hold up. The sin of the world was literally upon him. He was trying to hold it up for us. He was taking as much air as he could. His body was small. He wasn't a big guy. He was little. I would say, I don't know, 5'4", 5'5", not tall, not a big guy, very thin. His chest was so small. When he would breathe, I could see his diaphragm and his muscles trying to pull in the air as he was moving. And he was dirty. He was just absolutely, he did have blood on him, but it was like dried blood. And he was covered in dirt. It was like he'd been rolled around in the dirt, just filthy. His face was covered with sweat. His hair was wavy, brownish black. And it was wringing wet with sweat. And the sweat was dripping down. And you could see the sweat and the blood on his face. And as he was trying to get air and try to hold the weight up of what he was doing, he didn't speak to me. He didn't look at me. I was merely a spectator standing in front of him as I watched him, the suffering that he was going through. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I saw. It was just so heavy that it just still makes me shake just to see any human being go through that. I don't think that was a normal death. I think it was a supernatural death. But I think there's a big difference between one of us dying and watching the Son of God dying on that cross for us. The weight that was upon him was so heavy, and he was holding it up for us over and over. And as soon as, I don't know how long I saw that, long enough to tell you what I saw. And then I was back here. And then I was left with, what was that? And I was in a daze. It took me a while to just, did that really happen? I just kept seeing it. I still can't stop seeing that in my mind. It doesn't go away. I told the pastor about it. I'm not going to see something like that and not say something about it. I've never seen anything like that. It's so real. That is what I saw. So I told the pastor about it. Afterwards, I just continued to pray, Lord, why did you show that to me? What do you want me to do? Why me? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? And I continue to pray that. What I have heard is, and it's John 3:16, but it's in a slightly different way. And he says to me that I believe this to be the Holy Spirit telling me this. He says, it's the verbs. God is so loved. When he says love, we think love like we think love. That word is not like a linear word going through a sentence where we think about it as a feeling. It's like way bigger than we can think of this way. That word is, what he says love is bigger than we can put into any language that we have. When he says, God so loved the world that he gave, and that was the other big word, that he gave. When he gave his son. And when he gave his son, he put the weight of every sin that has ever been, that ever will be, upon him to die on that cross for us. He did that. That is the weight. That John 3:16, 17, 18 will never, ever mean the same thing to me ever again. It is, those words are missing the depth of what is really being said there. Past that, I haven't gotten anything other than Holy Spirit did tell me to tell you before I spoke that to guide me and to make sure that I said that I should not add any words, don't embellish, don't guess, nothing. I've done my very best to do that today. I don't know if there's more coming to me or not. I still don't know why I saw that. But I can tell you, my brothers and sisters, Christian family, God does love us. And he did give his own son for us. And those words are so much bigger and deeper than what we can imagine. The depth of what Jesus went through on the cross for us is not like what we thought. It is brutal. It was ugly. It was torture beyond what any person should ever go through. It is nothing like the movies. And the weight and the look on Jesus' face that I saw, I will never forget how heavy that was on him, and how hard he was trying to push himself back up just to get another breath of air. I think that's all I have to say. If that's what I saw, I don't know what I saw. That's what I saw.
Thank you, brother.
Can we just give him one more round for his distinguished career and his service to our nation as well?